Hi people, me again of course as always, Moino Ravenberg. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm gonna cover another goetic spirit. This time it's going to be the goetic spirit Eligos. Eligos is number 15 in the Goetia, aka the Lesser Key of Solomon, book 1, or better said the other way around. Now, I recite, Eligos, the 15th spirit in order, is Eligos, a great duke, and appeared in the form of a goodly knight carrying a lance, an ensign, and a serpent. He discovereth hidden things and knoweth things to come, and of wars and how the soldiers will or shall meet. He causeth the love of lords and great persons. He governeth 60 legions of spirits. His seal is this, etc. Now, these are my notes on Eligos. Now, for starters, Eligos is Jupiterian. He corresponds to 26 degrees in Sagittarius. Hold on, almost forgot to write that down. Sagittarius, yeah. The keyword stands for the keyword is opportunity. That 26 degrees stands for opportunity. So by default, he's opportunistic in terms of energy output. Anyways, so he's Jupiterian, 26 degrees in Sagittarius, keyword opportunity, with strong Saturnian vibes. Appearance is that of a knight on a horse, medieval style with dark tones. True form is the same, but instead of a knight, it's an angel. Colors of the angel are red/black. He says that he's fallen, used to belong to powers, so the angelic order of powers, with some affiliation to authorities, or some affiliation with authorities. Specialty, politics and diplomacy through knowledge, in between brackets, can elevate one's position in life through these and will make the operator very ambitious and statesmanlike, but is limited by conditions and or circumstances. This attributes to charm, but not as a strong suit, more as a secondary benefit, so to speak. Yeah, before I continue, give me a moment. Let me just wait. Angelic order of powers. What are the powers of thingy again? What are they responsible for again? I don't know. The powers. Where are your powers? The middle orders. Powers, etc. Powers, potestates, etc. are given their names. They have power over evil forces, which the angels are able to restrain to keep them from doing harm. They also oversee the power which human beings, such as kings, have been given in the world. Okay, yeah, now makes sense. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. No wonder, yeah. So yeah, anyways, like I said, let's start off with the appearance. He appears as one of those high quality or high class knights from medieval times. The ones that usually have like these horses that are neatly dressed and furnished. I want to say like a cataphract, but it's not a cataphract. Cataphracts are heavily armored. He's like quote unquote just dressed as when he appears as a knight that is almost like blackish in nature. Horse is black, and the horse has like elegant like a banner style decor going about itself, essentially. You people that have seen medieval movies know what I'm talking about. Okay, horses were draped in banners and whatnot as a means of not only for decorative purposes but also as a means of showcasing one's class. That's why I said like a high class knight. That's how he appears. Like I said, dark colors, essentially. Think a grayish form of black, like dark gunmetal black, if you will. And the true form is of an angel. So instead of the knight, it's an angel in the same position, riding a horse and whatnot. It's actually funny because when I saw his true form, only as a means of symbolism, he like lit up a cigar, but and he's like, but yeah, I know that's obviously not the case. It's metaphorically speaking, my imagination, but not literally. My imagination in the sense of it being a metaphor for status. You know, what kind of people smoke cigars in general? Like these CEO type guys. These are the kind of guys that have a certain position or a high position or an elevationary position within corporate affairs and whatnot. Those kind of guys light up cigars. I mean, how often have you seen like the average working man light up a cigar? Rarely. So that's what it stood for, and yeah, typical angel, you know, blonde Caucasian looking man or with dark hair. Hair is I didn't pay attention so much to the hair. The hair was either blonde or black. Doesn't matter all too much to me within this context. Wearing a white robe and The robe was the outline of the robe. By outline, I mean this. The same way that the outline partially of my collar is black. Going all the way around the robe, of course, was red, but then it changed to black, but not the robe itself. The outline was black, but what was more interesting is that when switching to black, he's wearing black undergarments, so a black undershirt. Think of like the shirt that I'm wearing, but completely black with a white robe over it. It's quite a cool look, quite refined. I actually like that one the most compared to the red. I like both, but I like that the most. And what else? No lance or a serpent or anything like that, but that's just miscellaneous, you know. And yeah, I already said, he told me he's from powers with some affiliation to authorities, and it makes sense, but officially powers. Yeah, and the specialty, politics and diplomacy. So unsurprisingly, based on the fact that he's from powers, not that that has to necessarily be the case with every angel from powers and or authorities, but based on everything that I've said, essentially, yeah, his specialty is, as my data also shows, my astrological data, politics and diplomacy. So he can literally, like, if you want to become the CEO of a company, you're like a janitor or you're a homeless person and you want to become the president of your nation or the nation that you inhabit or any nation, metaphorically speaking, he can bring that about. That's an extreme example, but you get the gist of it, and you know what I mean, viewer and or viewers. He literally can elevate you, okay? And he'll do so by making you opportunistic and giving you a tremendous level of ambition to achieve the aforementioned. The drawbacks are, though, that you'll become, in a typical Saturnian style, you'll become more cold, more melancholic, the way that CEOs usually are, not warm-hearted, and as opposed to being warm-hearted and affectionate. Let me see, what else was there? Yeah, and he also, again, he makes you charming, but it's more of a secondary benefit, in a matter of speaking, within the context of all of the aforementioned being his overall specialty. That kind of flair, if you will produce a certain degree of charm, but at minimal or intermediary levels at best, honestly. Intermediary levels at best. Usually, like I said, sometimes power is like an aphrodisiac to some people. They become impressed by someone that is in a position of power and knows how to handle himself and or herself. So in that context, but not that that is the main feature or main benefit, no. Just like I said. Let me see what else. There, if I had anything else. Yeah, and last but not least, another benefit is that when helping you, he will be able to help you the extent to which is conventionally applicable to you in the way of conditions and or circumstances. So he can't like commit or perform tremendous wonders. He'll be able to help you with what is available for you as a person. So if you're like the average person, working class person, and you were born in France and you live in France, then what is available in your respective environment in relation to the town, city, village, town, and or city you live in, and to a lesser extent France as a whole, he'll be able to help you out in that department. So he'll push the envelope as far as conventionally it can be pushed, but don't expect anything beyond that in general. So again, there is a natural limitation in place here, to put it that way. I mean, compared to the average spirit or the average, the average entity that I've covered. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, last but not least, cancel. Save. Hold on. Yeah, last but not least, his description of the goetia. This description, contrary to the usual descriptions, which are bluntly put bullshit in general, no offense to them, obviously, it's misinformation and or nonsense, or just a misdescription, honestly, an unjust description to say the least. But contrary to that, with Eligos, I think he also told me that alternatively he can also be called Eligos, or Eligoso, but Eligos is what he classically prefers, heavily, substantially to heavily. The appearance is correct in the classical description mentioned in the Goetia. The hidden things and knoweth things to come, no, not really. No, that's more treasure hunty in nature, treasure huntish in nature. It's a reference to the fact that he's Sagittarian, and corresponds to Jupiter. That's how the person that wrote down the description made the connection. But in this specific context, no, it's way too general, and no, that's not his specialty. Based on what I said, obviously earlier. Wars and how soldiers will or shall meet. No, not really. Again, it's way too general. It's a reference to the whole concept of him being a political figure and specializing in diplomacy and statesman-like ship. And to cause it the love of lords and great persons. Like I said, again, no. It's at best a secondary specialty. Like I said, the level of diplomacy, the ambition, the hard work, all of that stuff, it appeals to some people, as in you're a hard worker, you push yourself relentlessly, you come up with new ideas, you're a front runner in that department. It'll make, for example, if you work for a company, it'll make the CEO go like, hey, guy's a hard worker, give him a promotion. But again, that's not a primary specialty. It's more of a secondary nature in the way of specialties. Yeah, so overall the description is correct, but correct in a very generic, neutral, or even below neutral, in a subpar sense. Like, it's like someone asking you what the components of milk are, and instead of like listing its properties, as in the properties of milk, the chemical components and whatnot, not that you have to know that, but provided that the person is under the presumption or assumes that that is the case, as in you know stuff in detail, as in what are the components of milk, what is milk made up of, and then you just say, well, milk is white. It's ultra generic, it's ultra general. That's the best comparison I can make in terms of the Goetia's description and then what Eligos can actually do. Well, there you have it, all the information. Bye bye.